Oh, hi there, traveler. Pull us here up at the bar. I'll be with you in just a moment. So, made a decision? What can I get you? Coffee? Tea? Have special? You could always stick around. Never know what you'll find at the tavern.
Hello, I'm Phoenix Arden. I use they, them pronouns.
And I'm Eve Handyside. I use any pronouns.
And this is Talkin in the Tavern.
Woo!
Pew, pew, pew. This is episode...
Something.
Episode a number.
One of them.
6?
There's definitely a number.
I think.
6. It is 6. Woo!
Yep.
I had Spotify.
We're so organised. This is episode 6.
We're so organised.
This is going to be our last normal tit for 2023, which is very strange.
It is strange.
But there we are.
The last tit.
It's the final tit of 2023.
It's the final tit.
It's not the final tit of this season of Hearth and Tome. There will be one in January. Which will be our 2023 roundup of all the books that we've read and all that good shit. And obviously we will have an episode in December. It's just not tit because I didn't want to do as much work, so I gave Eve more work.
How dare you?
So we've got a blooper reel coming in December instead. And we will give more details about that at the end of our book club episode for this month. There is details about when all this stuff is happening. So make sure you listen to that and also keep an eye on the social medias and everything to know when everything's happening.
We would like to apologise in advance for the book club episode because it was it's interesting.
Yeah, this is actually this is a good point. This is your chance because you've got 2 weeks until the book club episode comes out. If you were considering reading Red Scholar's Wake and then listening to the podcast to hear what we thought, I think it's fair to say we would both recommend that you not read Red Scholar's Wake.
Yeah. Give up.
And just
run away.
Wait and listen to the podcast first. And then after the podcast, if you still feel like you really want to read it, then, you've been warned. But this is us giving you a big red flag. Don't do it.
Yeah. Don't run away.
Yeah.
Leave it where it is.
Yeah.
As much as it is pretty, don't do it to yourself.
Yeah. Anyway.
We are here to talk about TikTok and TikTok books.
Yes.
We're going to go through a bunch of TikTok books that are currently or have been popular on TikTok and give you kind of alternatives to what you could read instead or alongside.
Yeah.
Because we're not a huge fan of the current list that's circulating on TikTok. Yeah. They're not my taste. No. They're not Phoenix's. No. So we're going to give other recommendations for other stuff we actually think is good.
Yeah, we've talked about some of these in bits and bobs before, and particularly in our September Talkin in the Tavern episode, I think it was. We talked about when we did the anti-TBR. I think a few of these came up then. But we're going to sort of do a bit of a deep dive into 4 big TikTok books and talk about why we didn't like them and what we don't like and give you some suggestions for what you should read instead because they're better. And then we're also, because, we believe in being fair, we're going to talk about some BookTok books that were good and that do deserve the hype.
And probably should hopefully come back soon because they're much better than what's currently circulating. Anyway, why don't we bust right in to what we're going to talk about. There will be, I think there might be slight spoilers, so you might be warned there might be slight spoilers for what's coming up. Why don't we hit out the park with A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas?
Yeah, let's launch right in.
Right, all right.
Now, I feel like I should preface this. I haven't read A Court of Thorns and Roses. I have no intention of reading it either. but I just want to say I've
read the first chapter.
Okay, well, you've read some of it. You've read more of it than I have.
I've read the first chapter because I was curious how bad it was, and then I went away after that and watched a video essay. I'm so glad I didn't waste my time. But also, it sounded like the worst thing imaginable, so I didn't want to put myself through it. It follows Feyre, I hope I'm saying that right, Feyre, who kills a kind of fey creature, and then the fey creature makes her decide between living in the human world or the fairy realm, and she decides to go through to the fairy realm and live with a guy named Tamlin. Tamlin, I found out, is very abusive in the second book, and it's a whole enemies to lovers thing, and there is so much kind of intimacy in the books that it makes me kind of uncomfortable. But it's a Fae-centered book. I'm not a huge fan of Fae, personally, but she hates fairies, so there's a big kind of like, she hates them, she's out to harm them, and she doesn't want to be there, so there's a whole thing around Fae. I haven't read the book. I wouldn't recommend reading it. Yeah. But, because it's Sarah J. Maas, and I think she's a bit...
Yeah, we talked a lot about Sarah J. Maas in the anti-TBR episode. So I feel like we're going to try and avoid talking about this in terms of her, and more in terms of the book.
The source material.
Just to be clear, we're not going to go on another why we don't like Sarah J. Maas rant. We're just going to focus on why we don't like A Court of Thorns and Roses instead.
Yeah. I just think there's better Fae books. As a person who doesn't like Fae, I think there's better Fae books.
There are definitely better Fae books. My sister has read... I don't know if she's read all of them, but she's definitely read some of this series. And she said that one of the big issues that she had with it was that, like, in, like, the first book, you would be, you know, wanting a certain love interest to be, like, you know, the one who wins, the one who goes ahead, you know.
Yeah.
The one who makes it through to the next round.
Who does the
the one that she
Hunger
like
Games
goes with
something?
at the end of the book, you know. You're going for that end game. But then apparently in like the next book, that character then becomes a nasty bitch, and there's another character that you want, and then in the next book the same thing happens again with the person from the second book that you liked is now the person in the third book that you don't like, and there's somebody new. Apparently.
What kind of fan fiction is this?
Bad. It's the bad kind of fan fiction.
Oh, God. But if you're not a fan of this shit, there's definitely some other great things you can read. I'll credit right at the bat with a book I finished last night, Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher.
Yes.
Which is 100 pages. It's a classic kind of like twisted fairy tale of the main character, who I forget the name of. It's not Toadstool. Toadling, who is snatched away by Fae into the Fae world, and then kind of grown up to be a kind of Fae in their own right, and then they're sent to curse this young child. So it is a retelling of the classic fairy tale of...
It's Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty, that's the one. Thank you.
When Toadling is born, she is the daughter of like a king and queen, and she is taken by Fae and replaced with a changeling, a baby who then grows up in her place. And while she's in the Fae realm, because time passes differently there, she like grows up and has like developed some Fae magic, and then she is sent back specifically to prevent the changeling from turning and killing a bunch of people, which is what changelings do, right? Like they grow up, they become powerful, they kill all the humans. And she is specifically sent back as like a fairy godmother, with the intention being that she will like say a specific set of words that will stop the changeling from being able to do evil shit. And then she accidentally flubs the words, and it all goes tits up. And yeah, I think it's a really fun.
I really like it,
and it's a really good, interesting approach to Fae as well.
Exactly, because they actually appear both semi-evil and untrustworthy multiple times, which is how they are like, and not some sexy mythological creature that have tails and look like humans. They're purposefully made out to be really ugly, which I really like. Like, the people she lives with are swamp creatures. I forget the name of the actual fairy.
Remember.
But they've got, like, sharp teeth. They're quite aquatic looking. They look kind of like frogs. She's even described as being quite ugly, but because she's been living in this water and she can transform into a frog. But I just think it's really interesting how, in comparison, the changeling's meant to be very, very beautiful compared to how, ugly the fairies are meant to appear. And I thought that's so cool.
Yeah.
I really liked that. And then I liked how the prince was really, really pathetic. He doesn't do anything, and it's great.
Yeah. No, it's a really good take on Fae, I thought, and it is, again, like you said, it's short, so you're not
short.
committing to like a big long slog.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed Thornhedge, for sure.
It was so good. I'm so glad I read it. I'm making my way through all of King Talkin.
Making my way downtown.
I've read like downtown walking fast, reaching back in the pump out.
Anyway.
Yeah, I've read like 6 T. Kingfisher books in the last like month, which is I'm loving it.
Anyway. If you do want the more sexy Fae, but you don't want Akatar, I can recommend The Witch King and its sequel, The Fae Keeper, by H.E. Edgman. They are YA fantasy with a bit of romance. It's basically, there's like this Fae realm where there are Fae who are, what you would think. They've got like horns and wings and shit. And then there are witches who are like, I think they're like the same, like when a child is born, they're either a witch or a fae, and most of them are fae. And the witches have like magic and stuff, but don't have the same features as fae. And the main character is this trans guy who is a witch, and as a child he was like engaged against his will to the prince of the fae, and he like runs away after having accidentally like burned down his family home and killed his parents. And then the fae guy comes to find him and tells him that like the kingdom's all like falling apart, and they strike this deal where they're like pretend to go along with the engagement, and I can't remember all the details, but they then have to go back to the Fae realm and work together against the intrigue that's plotting to ruin everything, and they start to fall in love and all that jazz. It's very good. I really enjoyed them both books. Very fun. And they do have that sexy Fae, but they're also not just like, ooh, sexy Fae.
They're not like, we're gonna hide in this tent while a war is going on and have sex.
Yeah. I think there's only a little bit of sex, and it's not like detailed. It's just like a sort of like they went and had sex sort of thing,
Yeah, great. Little spice.
Yeah.
Little spice.
So yeah, it's got if the sexy times is what you're looking for, then this has got a smidge of that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get around to reading it.
They're really good books. I really enjoyed them both.
Yeah.
They have a lot to say about obviously like identity and stuff, but also like about indigenous rights and stuff. There's a lot of that, particularly in the second book. And a lot of talk about like power and what it means to have power and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, they're really good.
Oh, fantastic.
I would strongly recommend them. I've loved both of them.
My next book is kind of along the same lines. It's Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones.
Oh yeah.
It is a series. Technically it's a series, and it has mages and wizards. No fae technically. There is like primordial beings and stuff, but it's fairy tale like story again. if you've seen the movie by Studio Ghibli, fantastic. But there's also a book series, if you didn't know. It's a delight. It's cozy fantasticness, filled with magic, adventure, and very, very no spice. No spice at all for us people who do not like spice. I'm looking at you. What the fuck was the book called?
The Red Scholar's Wake. Oh, God.
Red Scholar's Wake. Oh, horrific. Howl's Moving Castle follows Sophie, who's a hat maker, and Howl, who is a wizard. And as she gets a curse on her and goes to live with him in his moving castle, and chaos ensues and it doesn't break the curse, but I can't really say much because I feel like
you don't want to spoil it.
If I say anything, it's gonna spoil it because but there's political intrigue, there's battles, there's all like great stuff, and I think it's perfect for people who like fae or who like magic, but it's very like comfy magic. It's not very like everyone's going to die kind of stakes either, so it's like I think it's perfect for that.
I like good movie.
I had a great time. It's such a good movie. I watch it every year. Oh. That and Kiki's Delivery Service, which is a book as well, but I haven't read it.
I did like Kiki's Delivery Service. I'm still working my way through the like Studio Ghibli movies. I've not watched most of them yet.
We need to watch Kiki's Delivery Service.
I do love Kiki.
Or another one together, because that's my favourite Studio Ghibli movie.
It's a good one.
Which is like, it's a good one.
It is.
It's a good one. It's a real good one. And Blizz has got a talking cat. How can I not love it? He's a wee grumpy shit. I love him.
But yeah.
He's what I aspire to be.
A wee grumpy shit.
Yeah, all of the time.
Moving swiftly on.
Please.
My next recommendation is, again, it's a series. It's the Witches of Thistle Grove series by Lana Harper. The first book is Payback's a Witch. They're like classic rom-com sort of thing. They're obviously witchy. There's like a lot of sort of the new well, it's not new anymore, the Netflix Sabrina show. It's that sort of like witchy vibes sort of thing, but less dark.
Oh, bro.
And it's entirely a rom-com, so you probably won't like them, Eve. They're literally just like, each one is like a self-contained little rom-com on its own. But they are probably good if you're like, or wanting an alternative to ACOTAR. They've got that witchy vibes. The first one is sapphic. The second one is, I think, straight people. Or at least the main couple is a man and a woman. I can't remember if maybe one of them's bi. I think one of them is. I know the third one has a non-binary love interest, and I can't remember about the fourth one. Because I haven't read it yet. But they're all slightly different, but basically they're all centered around this town, Thistle Grove, where there's like these 4 ancient witching families, and they're all like vying for power. And yeah, they're not like fantastic, but sometimes you just need a bit of a simple rom-com, and these definitely have that. Yeah. What was that TV show? Yeah. That TV show that there was also something, I think, movies about, that was about witches. Oh God.
Not Sabrina. Buffy? Not Buffy.
No. I think it was from like the 90s or something. Charmed!
Was it The Craft? Oh, Charmed, okay. I've never watched the TV show for Charmed.
And there was another one as well, but I can't remember what it was. But anyway.
I just know The Craft got a new movie and it's awful.
No, but that doesn't surprise me. Was it Charmed? Charmed is not what I was thinking of. Oh well, I'm sure it'll come back to me. Maybe it was a movie. But anyway. It's got that like, witchy suburban thing happening. Yeah.
My last one is Stardust by Neil Gaiman. Oh. I'm rereading a bunch of Neil Gaiman, and this is what I've got next on my TBR, because I adore both the movie and the book. The movie has Charlie Cox in it, and if you don't know, Charlie Cox is Daredevil in Marvel, and he's a beautiful, beautiful man. But it's also the book is like the book and story and all that is the same kind of like fairy tale like thing you expect with a hidden world and the main character Tristan having to go and travel to that new world, meeting a celestial being which is the love interest. Celestial being, she's a star. But it's filled with magic, adventure, and it's very low spice. It's got witches, it's got curses, it's got people trying to live forever, it's got ghosts that come back from the dead. It's so good. I love the book. I adore it. And it's got a great soundtrack, the movie. Fantastic soundtrack.
I will take your word for it, because it's been a long time since I saw that movie.
It's the one song by, oh God, what's the band? I'm seeing them next year. Oh, Gary Barlow. What's his band called? Anyway, it's Gary Barlow, who did the opening song for it. It's gorgeous.
Oh, Take That.
Take That, yes. Oh, they're doing a UK tour.
Oh.
I'm going next year.
Next week.
Next year.
You said the week.
I'm going next
first.
week. Yes, I'm gonna sit in in Glasgow and wait for them for 6 months.
6 months, Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna wait there. Okay, I'm committed. Love you, Gary. Gary.
Anyway.
Gary.
Moving on. For my last alternative, again, if you want that romancy thing, I can recommend Girl, Goddess, Queen by B. Fitzgerald. It's a Hades and Persephone retelling. It's so slow burny. It is like the most slow burn I've ever read. It is like it's really good. It's got like all of the tropes. It's got fake dating, marriage of convenience, slow burn.
We love it.
And obviously Greek mythology retelling at this point is basically a trope. Let's face it. It's really good. I loved that book. It absorbed me.
Hell yeah.
And it's also very pretty, the book, so can definitely recommend on that front. Yeah, it was really, really, really good. And I think there is a sequel coming at some point. So if you like that sort of romancy thing, then just read that. Anything?
Which one would you like to do next?
Okay, let's break it up a bit and talk about something that isn't a romance, and let's talk about the Atlas 6.
Okay. The Atlas 6.
The Atlas 6. Now, I have read the Atlas 6.
I gave up.
I have read the sequel to the Atlas 6, the Atlas Paradox.
Oh no.
They are both not good books. Let me just a quick summary.
Break it down.
Thank you for the beat.
You're welcome.
So it's like every 10 years, it's this world where there's magic, obviously, and every 10 years, the 6 most talented magicians from various parts of the world are chosen, handpicked to join this group called the Alexandrian Society, which is this secret society, classic dark academia vibes, you know. You join us and then you do some academic shit and then you get a position of power and prestige and all this because we've got connections in all these places. And the 6 people, the people who are chosen in the start of this book, they all obviously have their own reasons for joining, and they all hate each other and also are all little shits for no fucking good reason. And then there's secret enemies trying to take down the society, and there's all sorts of weird stuff going on, and they're all trying to work out what the society is really about. And it almost sounds like it could be good, but it's not. It's really, really not. They are bad books. They are badly written, and I hated them both. I read the first one because I got the proof of it. And then I saw the proof of the second one, and I was like, I know the second one has been, like, properly published, right? Because the first one was self-published and then picked up by a traditional publisher. And I was like, I know that the second one has obviously had the traditional publisher from the start. So I was like, maybe, you know, with the assistance of, like, a professional editor, it'll be fine. It was worse. It was worse.
Oh, no.
It was worse than the first one, and I didn't think that was possible.
Oh, God.
None of the characters are at all likeable. They're all really piss annoying. They all have stupid god complexes. They're not interesting. They're not fun. I hated them all. I hated every moment of these books. Don't fucking read them.
I DNF'd the first one anyway. I couldn't do it either.
That was wise, Eve. That was very wise.
Seeing how brain rot horrible the second one made you was... Oh no, I'm glad I didn't continue. Jesus.
Yeah, they're just so bad and so flat and so uninteresting and so unlikable, and that's what I think. They're thoroughly
get rid of it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I think part of the problem might just be that a lot of dark academia is quite shit. Which I know is a spicy take, sometimes, but it's true.
No, fair enough. It's because a lot of them are very boring.
Yeah.
And you can tell why in a lot of them. They're just meh books. They're very much like contemporary. And they've got nothing giving.
Yeah.
Nothing fun giving.
Yeah.
Which is right shame. What are you recommending?
So I've only got 2 recommendations here because I don't read dark academia, so I don't know of better dark academia. I have put here Babel by R. F. Kuang because that is dark academia, and it was tolerable. I didn't love it as much as everybody else seemed to. I thought it was good. I don't think it was insanely good, but it was good.
In retrospect, it was fine. I was obsessed with it when it came out.
I think it was very hyped, and I think that made people act as if it was better than it was, or feel like it was better than it was. And then once that atmosphere dies down and you look back, you're like, oh, it was fine.
It was fine. Yeah.
It has interesting things to say. I don't think it was a bad book by any means. I just don't think it was, like, fantastic.
It didn't hit it. See, upon like a similar vein, there's books like that I liked in the dark academia genre. Like, I'm gonna say Ninth House. I did not like Ninth House, but I like the sequel Hellbent. Ninth House is meh, but Hellbent was a 5 stars. Ninth House was 2.
Which is quite the flip.
I devoured Hellbent. Right? It's because I think they tried to cram in too much into the first book.
Right.
Which works when you get to the second book, because you have the cram of knowledge from the first. It was like studying the first book. And then the second one's an actual story that I actually quite liked, and it's got demons and stuff in it. Another really popular one, If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio, which is like an actual Shakespeare sonnet. It's the actual like layout of a Shakespeare sonnet, and it's very, very, very good, very dark. I actually loved it, which I didn't expect because it's compared to The Secret History, which I despise with my entire being. I think it's the worst book I've ever read in my life.
The worst book you've ever finished.
Yeah, no. To be fair, I finished that shit. Put me in a 6-month-long reading slump.
Jesus.
Hated it. It was why I only read like 25 books that year.
Yeah, no,
because it destroyed my very, very soul.
Yeah.
And I see all these BookTok girls like loving it, and it's so aesthetic. Those people in that book are horrible people. They say a slur every line. They're not gay enough, and there's incest.
Oh, God.
Right? It's awful. But Everywhere Villains is fucking fantastic. It's so good. I loved it. Ugh.
Yeah. And the only other one I've put as an alternative suggestion for this is Legendborn.
Yes.
By
Oh my gosh,
Tracy
yes.
Dion.
I liked
the
it.
first book in the series.
Good.
I really liked it. I really liked the second one as well. There is a third one coming at some point.
Oh, fab.
Because they again have that like secret society thing. But it's better.
It's Arthurian legend.
It is. It's Arthurian legend, and also there's a lot of discussion of like racism and legacy and all this shit, and grief. There's a lot of like themes of grief really tie through it.
The flashback.
Yeah.
That book made me cry. It was so good.
Incredible book. Really, really good. And
I never continued, but I keep
the second one is also really good.
Yes.
I wouldn't really call them... They're not like dark academia, but they're close enough.
I would say they are. They take place in a college. They go to class.
Is that all it takes to be dark academia?
Yeah. That is bare bones dark academia.
Going to college.
For you. Yep. Anything where it's ever set at a school, technically it's dark academia.
I don't think
it's so
that's
stupid.
True.
I'm gonna count it as yes, okay? I'm counting
I don't think that just setting your book at a college makes it dark academia.
Okay.
I've read so many romance novels set in colleges that definitely aren't dark academia.
Oh no.
But, you know, sure.
You're in your college
you heard it here
turned
first,
into
guy.
dark academia.
If anything is written at a college, it's dark academia now.
In my mind, it
He
is.
makes the rules now, and that's how it works.
You know, sure. Everything's dark academia if you try hard enough.
Oh, God.
Legends and lattes could be dark academia.
I think that's definitely a stretch.
No, it's definitely a stretch. It's got books in it. And caffeine addiction.
Any other alternative suggestions for the Atlas 6?
Yeah. I'll go quickly through my last two, which is one of my favourite books of all time. And another one, which I'll do the other one first, which is Bunny by Mona Awad. Set at a college. Got a cult.
Automatically
female cult.
dark academia?
Thank you. I think I talked about it last tit, but it's kind of like Barbie, but instead of Barbie, it's Bunny.
Yes, you did talk about
and that's
this
the best way I can describe it.
The Monster Mash book tag.
Yeah.
Talkin in the Tavern.
There's lots of drugs, lots of alcohol, lots of inappropriate things, and sadly, none of the women get together. But I just think it's such a mindfuck of a book. I just love it. And her other books as well are also all technically dark academia as well, like Rouge, which I just finished, which was fucking fantastic, which is Beauty and the Beast retelling.
Oh.
Fantastic. Great. I didn't know it was that until I was reading through reviews like the other night. So I was like, didn't know at all. It was great. One of my favorite books of all time is, my favorite author is Erin Morgenstern, and her book The Starless Sea is categorized within dark academia. It is has very little plot, mainly vibes. It's prophecy done in a way where it's a book inside a book, but the book inside the book is prophecy, as well as like this couple getting together. It's very, very sweet. There's paintings that prophesize the future. There's secret societies. There's Frankenstein references. There's all that good stuff. And if I say anything, it will just tell you the entire plot, because that's how little plot there is, and I love that. It's so good. I eat it. I eat the book physically. It's amazing. Go read Erin Morgenstern, please. I beg you.
There we go.
It's so good. And it's technically there's 2 chapters at college. It's dark academia.
Okay.
It counts.
Let's move on from the Atlas 6
to
another BookTok book. I think this is another one that you suggested we should talk about. which is
Fourth Wing
by Rebecca Yarros.
So, Fourth Wing's huge at the moment.
Is it still huge? I'm not on BookTok enough to know if people are still talking about it now.
I am seeing it everywhere because the sequel is dropping soon, or it has dropped.
Oh, right, yeah. Because it came out in, May, right?
Yeah. And so, very quick turnaround for the sequel.
Yeah. Bit sus, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's because I'm on this side of BookTok for some reason where it's giving me all the videos of people getting tattoos for the book. And I'm just like,
oh no.
Okay.
Oh no.
Like some people are getting very large tattoos for this book.
Oh dear.
Like, I'm all for dragon tattoos. I want a dragon tattoo eventually.
But not because of Fourth Wing.
No, because of How to Train Your Dragon.
Let's talk about Fourth Wing first, and then we'll get down to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, because it's spoiler alert, it's one of my recommendations. Because hyperfixation. Fourth Wing is about a 20-year-old named Violet Sorengale, I think is how you pronounce her last name.
Probably.
Dear God. She is about to enter the scribe quadrant. She lives a quiet life among books and history, but now she's being pushed into this being a candidate for basically a dragon rider. There is the chosen one trope where she becomes like the only person in history that's able to do this one thing with dragons. I don't know what that thing is. All I know is it's chosen one and she can do something. I did not finish the book. I read a chapter, gave up. Because awful writing style. I couldn't do it. In this month's book club, I say I'm picky about writing style. I say I'm not, but I am. I'm very picky. It's really bad.
Pretty sure what you said in this month's book club actually is, I'm not picky about writing style. Actually, wait, yes I am.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a whole liar.
Yeah.
And there is just so much. It's categorized as romantasy because she falls in love, I think, with the main male lead. I think he's meant to be quite a gruff, mean guy. She falls in love. Oh,
did you not in one of our other episodes? I feel like we've talked about Fourth Wing before, and I'm fairly sure I remember you describing the male lead as being huge.
Yes.
Which in my head,
that's what I was just about to go through.
There's a giant man and then like a normal-sized woman.
No, she's not normal-sized. She's tiny.
Oh, of course. Yes.
It is like an Adam Driver kind of situation. Tall, massive man to tiny female. Tiny female.
See, my head is just taking it to the extremes of like a literal giant, and then just like a slightly smaller than average human.
No, I think she's like 5 foot, and he's meant to be like almost 7.
Oh, joy.
Or something. He's meant to be like rippling muscle, kind of. It's like all of the like romance books that you see with like a chiseled chest and a tiny woman.
Yep.
It's that.
Yep.
It's awful. I'm surprised that's not the cover for it. But yeah, it's chosen one trope. Hate it. There are better books, such as How to Train Your Dragon by Krista Cowell,
which is also on my list.
How to Train Your Dragon. So. It's because it's the perfect dragon series.
Yeah.
It's the best dragon series.
Yeah.
It's middle grade. I reread all of them this year. I had the best time of my life. I miss them. I'm going to reread them again soon, hopefully. And consume everything by it, because it follows Hiccup Haddock, the son of the chieftain of the tribe, the Hooligan tribe, I believe, and how he basically tames a dragon for himself and all of the stuff that goes along with it. I don't know if you've seen the movie. It's nothing like the movie. The books are nothing like them.
I wouldn't say nothing like. The same basic vibe is there.
Yeah.
People ride dragons.
Yeah.
There are Vikings.
Yeah. Except
the
that
plot is very different.
Yeah, the plot is different because the people of the tribe already like the dragons. So it's just them training for most of the stuff.
And Toothless is not a big dragon that you ride. Toothless is a little guy.
He's a little guy. He's adorable. He's just a little fella.
Yeah.
Who's sassy and talks, and I love him.
Yeah.
And just doesn't want to do anything unless he gets food. And me too. Me too.
What a mood.
He just refuses to do anything. It's great.
That is understandable.
Do you have anything else to recommend
Yes,
for this?
I have a couple of other ones.
Hell yeah.
So, firstly, Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. I think I've talked about this
at the library.
on the podcast before.
Yeah.
It's there's dragons and there's humans, and the dragon world is separate from the human world, but a dragon comes through to the human world accidentally and finds himself connected to a human who is they're a thief and they're non-binary, and the dragon is like, I'm gonna get this human on side and then betray them so that I can use our bond to like break the veil between the worlds and bring the dragons back.
Slay.
And then there's some heisting and some fondling. There's a very, very sexy pickpocketing scene, which involves some definite cupping.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the first book in what's going to be a trilogy, which
Slay.
is cool. It's got a very good cover as well, and has dragons and fantasy and romance, and
Exactly.
doesn't have weird chosen one shit.
It's truly awful.
Yeah. I have
One second, we hate chosen
other
one.
recommendations. Do you have any more?
I think I have I have two.
Okay, go ahead with one of yours then.
So- I'll quickly shout out one of my other favourite authors, Brandon Sanderson, Tress of the Emerald Sea, which was one of the secret projects that came out this year, which is fairy tale pirates. Basically, our main character, Tress, goes on a voyage across the sea to rescue the love of her life, the kind of like Duke of the island. I think it's Duke, his title. From being cursed by this like other person. There's evil dragons. You can walk on the ocean. There's different types of water, and it all depends on different areas. It's very cool. There's primordial gods, and the person who narrates it is an immortal I want to say, it's not shapeshifter, immortal kind of like world hopper from a bunch of his other books, who I love with my entire soul. He's a baby girl. He's adorable. Hoyd. Baby girl. That's all I can say about it without saying anything else, because it is very, very short. It's only like 300 pages. But it's great stuff.
Yeah, that is quite short for Brando.
Right. It's the one he wrote for his wife, which was really, really sweet.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Good for him.
It's so cute. And there's also another animal companion, technically. And he's adorable. He's a little guy.
We stan a little guy on this podcast.
We stan little guys.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
My last alternative for Fourth Wing is Talon Sister by Jen Williams. I read this like a month ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is like an alternate history fantasy Roman Empire era Britain. And there are griffins, and there's like magic and druids and bits of like political intrigue, and I don't want to go too much into detail because it's kind of hard to go into detail too much without like spoiling things. But it's like there's 3 or 4 different characters that you follow at different times, and they're all in different parts of the world, and they're all doing different stuff, but it's all also like tying together in really interesting ways. And I loved it. It is like
Heck yeah.
560 pages, which isn't long, but is longer than most books I read. It takes a lot for me to read a book that's that long
Chunky.
and actually enjoy it. So I can really recommend that if you want that like like just classic like fantasy thing. It's there. It's not got dragons, but it does have griffins, which are close enough.
Yeah, still a mythological creature.
Yeah. They fly. They fly. Claws.
They have talons. They screech.
Yeah.
They go roar.
Exactly, just like dragons do. Roar.
Scree.
Yes.
Exactly.
What's your last one as an alternative for Fourth Wing?
My last one is The Shadow of the God. I think it's Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I think it's a trilogy. The second book is out. I still need to read the second book, but love the first one. It is more adult. It's very high fantasy. It's got 3 main characters, 2 hunters, 1 former hunter. It's Vikings mythology, evil dragon god, and the guy who wrote it is a Viking heritage reenactor.
Oh.
So it's good. So it's real good because he knows his stuff. He also wrote, I can't remember the series name, but Malice, which is also Viking. It's got like 6 books.
The ones that are all like different weapons on the cover.
Yeah. Which I've read the first one and loved as well, but need to keep going. But I really like him. He's so cool. And his books are genuinely really good because there's a lot of like description of Viking heritage or Viking heritage like mixed in with the stuff he makes up himself.
Cool.
It's very entertaining. Yeah. And there's the gods are all like animals in Shadow of the Gods, and so one of them's the dragon one's locked away. I can't remember why because it's been a while, but all the gods had kids with humans, and so some of them and they're all like enslaved by the rest of the humans because they have special abilities, and those abilities are real cool. Because there's like there's like wolf ones, there's dragon ones, I think there was a phoenix at one point.
Nice.
But yeah, I love the series. It's so good.
Cool.
I need to finish it before the end of the year because I keep saying I need to read it and haven't got around to it yet. I have 142 books on my TBR. I'm crushing under the weight.
Yeah, my TBR has increased much faster than it's decreased recently.
Yeah. God save.
Yeah. Okay.
It's almost the end of the year. It's allowed. It's allowed.
It's fine because my birthday and Christmas are both in December. So November and December, I put myself on a book buying ban.
Oh, it's
with a couple of exceptions for books that I know I'm going to buy, like Bookshops and Dust when it comes out.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But other than that, I'm like, no books. Because then it makes it easier for people to get them for me for gifts, and it gives me a chance to like catch up on my TBR a bit.
Slay. Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to our last book. BookTok Alternatives.
I only have 2 things for this.
That's fine because I've got loads. Which is
Great.
Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. Now, I want to preface this by saying I did like this book. Like the other 3 that we've talked about are all books that were like, no. This one I did like. I just think it is massively overhyped. And not even Casey McQuiston's best book. In fact, I would argue out of the 3 Casey McQuiston books that I have read so far, it was their worst book. So, there's that.
Oh no.
Yeah, it is about the son of the American president and the son of the king. I don't know if he's the son or the grandson. And actually, I think she's a queen. I think it's a queen in the book. He's the Prince of Wales. I never read it. Way. So it must be, I don't know. He's the Prince of Wales and the son of the president, and they've like met a few times and they kind of hate each other because they both think the other's really annoying. And then there is a bit of an incident between them at one of the times they meet, and it sort of causes like an international like thing. And so their parents are like, the way to resolve this is that you two need to pretend that you're like best friends and that you've always been best friends. And then they're faking this friendship, like develop like a genuine romance, and then they obviously encounter the issues with that, and they're trying to keep this romance secret, and stuff gets revealed, and it's all very, it's all very dramatic. There's a movie of it on Amazon Prime now, which I've watched the first half of, and it's atrocious.
I do not want to touch it. I refuse.
Yeah.
I've seen clips. It looks...
Yeah. Red, White and Royal Blue is like classic rom-com book, right? Like that's what we're talking about here. And yeah, like I said, like I don't dislike it. I think it's a good book. I just think that there are better rom-coms out there.
Yeah.
And I do think, and my first recommendation for an alternative is One Last Stop, also by Casey McQuiston, which is sapphic romance. There's a bit of like time travel-y stuff in there. I think it's much better than Red, White and Royal Blue is. And yet consistently, it gets shat on the internet. People on TikTok don't like it. Because people on TikTok have a thing about sapphic books.
Yeah, they don't like lesbians.
No.
What's wrong with them?
Because a lot of books that get big on BookTok by cis white women who love gay books like MLM, but keep that sapphic stuff away from them, apparently. One Last Stop is my favourite Casey McQuiston book. I think it was really good. I loved it. I can heartily recommend it. If you've read Red, White and Royal Blue, also go and read One Last Stop, because it's so good. It really is. And it does not get the attention that it deserves.
Exactly.
You said you've got 2 books for this, right?
Yeah.
I'll just do 3 of mine, and then you can do 1 of yours. And then I'll do 3 and then you do 1.
Okay, great.
I've also put on this list Cursed Cocktails by S.L. Rowland, which we did a whole episode about. It is MLM, it's cozy fantasy. We've done a whole episode about it. We don't need to go into the plot here. Go listen to our episode about it. We both really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for like an MLM romance that isn't massively overhyped, I can recommend Cursed Cocktails, because it was really good. And Bloom, which is a graphic novel by Kevin Panetta. I loved it. It's really cute. It's about this boy who works in his parents' bakery, and he's like desperate to leave and go to the big city with his band. And then another guy starts working at the bakery who's like the same age, and he's like really chill and easygoing, and they start to develop like something. And Hector, who's the new guy, like loves working in the bakery, and Ari is like, I just want to leave. But it all turns out really sweet and really gentle. It's really good, and I love it. So if you like a graphic novel, go read Bloom. It's sweet. Okay, hit me with one of yours, Eve.
Well, mine's lesbians, and is Crema by Johnny Christmas and Dante Louise.
I've heard of this, but I've never read it.
Such a good graphic novel. It is free on Kindle, from what I know. I think I've got a primary subscription, so it might be free with that as well. I don't know. I read it for free, and it's about Esme, who is a barista who feels invisible to like those around her. But if she drinks enough coffee, she can see ghosts.
I see.
This is what I want to be. I drink a sheer lot of coffee, way too much coffee. This is for me. And she falls in love with a girl called Yara, who is the heir to like a coffee ranch, coffee plant, wherever they're called, the place that grows coffee. And it's about them getting together, and about, I think it was like a guy who wants to buy the farm and who wants to be wants to take it over, but she also solves the problem of one of her best friends who's a ghost by bringing a letter over to the farm to their lost love that's already dead as well. And it's so sweet, it's so short, and it's a delight. And it's lesbians.
Gotta love a lesbian.
What's not to... Gotta love a lesbian. It's 120 pages, I just looked it up.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Great. I'll blast through my next 3. So first on this list, I've put Heartstopper.
That was one of mine as well.
Oh, well then let's just quickly blast through Heartstopper.
Technically, I've got another one. but it's fine.
Okay. Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. It's a graphic novel. Mm-hmm. It's about these two boys who are at school together and they meet and they fall in love, and it's very like coming of age. Mm-hmm. It's very sweet. It's very nice. It also deals with some really serious stuff at times. There's a Netflix adaptation, which is one of the best like adaptations of something I think there has ever been. It's like eerily accurate to the graphic novel at times. Yeah. Anything to say about Heartstopper?
It's fine. It's once again romance, so I'm like, meh.
Yeah. That's fair.
It's fine. I read them. I've watched the first season. I've not watched the second one.
It's
just not a me.
It's got Olivia Colman in it.
I know,
and she's in it more
her.
in the second season.
Is she? Oh, yeah. Beautiful. I love Olivia Colman.
Also on my list, I have got Gwen and Art Are Not in Love by Lex Croucher.
Yeah.
Which is it's like a sort of Arthurian retelling, but not quite. It's set in like medieval England, and Gwen is the princess of England, and Arthur is the son of a guy who is like a leader in this group of people who don't like the monarchy and want to change things. And they have been like betrothed since birth as part of like a peace agreement between the monarchy and these rebels. But they hate each other. And she sees him kissing another boy, and he finds her diary where she writes a lot about this female knight that she has like a massive crush on. And they both are like, they both try to blackmail the other, and then are like, why don't we just like, instead of blackmailing each other, why don't we like help each other? Sort of like, you know, help cover for each other and stuff. And pretend to be in love, pretend to fall for each other, and then that gives us cover to like, you know, do our extracurricular activities. And Gwen gets closer and closer to the night, and Arthur starts to fall in love with Gwen's brother. It's really good. It's really sweet. I really enjoyed it.
Heck yeah.
And then my last one to talk about is Cemetery Boys by Aidan
Yay!
Thomas. Cemetery Boys is one of my favourite books I think I've ever read.
God, same.
It's this trans boy, Yadriel, who is a part of a family where all of the women in the family have one set of powers and all of the men in the family have a different set of powers, and he wants to prove that he's a man. He's trying to like prove to his family that he is as much a man as any of the others, so he summons a ghost in an attempt to help the ghost, because that's what the men do. He's trying to find the ghost of his murdered cousin, and he accidentally summons the ghost of this guy who goes to his school, Julian. And then Julian is like, well, you're not just letting me fucking go now, like, you're gonna help me, you will help me find out what happened. And they sort of end up like tied to each other. And the longer they spend together, the more they fall in love. And it's really cute.
It's so cute.
And it all works out very nicely in the end. Spoilers.
It works out so well. I was so worried about the ending.
I loved Cemetery Boys so much. He is writing a sequel.
Yes!
He is. There is a Cemetery Boys 2 happening at some point. So
yes!
That's very
This is great success.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any other Red, White, Royal Blue alternatives?
I had written down Gideon the Ninth. We love Gideon the Ninth. Go read Lock Tomb. I don't think we'll have to go into it.
Yeah.
But Times a Year. Yeah. Great. The other one I have, when I looked up Crema, I realised, oh my god, wait, that's perfect. The Tea Dragon Society by Kay O'Neill.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a fantastic graphic novel. So cute. It's about, oh my god, what's her name? Greta, a blacksmith apprentice it's all about people she meets and about how she goes into the wonderful world of tea dragons that grow tea leaves on them, and you can harvest them and make tea, and it's kind of like dying art, and she goes and stays with, I think it's very D&D
It is.
If you like D&D,
Yeah.
because there's 2 people in it who are like old adventurers, or like there's at least one that's an old adventurer. It's very, very sweet. It's romance, kind of.
It is.
It's
really
so cute. It's adorable. It's my favourite graphic novel of all time.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. It was so good. I need to read their new thing. I can't remember what it's called. The Apricorn?
Ah, I see.
The Aquicorn Cove. I need to read that.
Cute.
Which I think is like a princess, which looks really cute as well. Oh, it came out before.
Huh.
Oh no, the year after, sorry.
Oh,
which
that
makes no sense. Yeah. Shit, I just didn't realise. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the dates of publication. I'm like, what the hell?
Great.
Damn, I'm really behind on it. It's very, very cute.
Yeah.
Very cute.
So there are some BookTok alternatives.
Woo.
Now we're gonna do a sort of a quick run through because I realise we've gone on quite long.
Yeah, we ran over time,
quick
but
run
oh well.
through of some books that have been on BookTok that are good and that we would recommend. Starting with, I think it's fair to say, Gideon the Ninth.
Yes, that's the top book that's on my list. Gideon the Ninth.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about Gideon the Ninth. Gideon the Ninth, go read it. And then read Harrow the Ninth, and then read Nona the Ninth, and then when it comes out, read Electo the Ninth.
Hopefully, we goddamn hope.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, we talk about these books all the time. You don't need to know more.
Yeah, we're in love with her.
Yeah.
So
I like how her in this situation could refer to literally anybody. The author, Gideon,
am I wrong?
Harrow, Nona, Camilla.
Am I wrong?
No.
Exactly.
Of course not.
Ianthe, don't forget about her.
Oh yeah.
Evil, and I love her.
What else? What else have you got on a good books list?
We mentioned this earlier, Babel. We also mentioned her earlier, Erin Morgenstern, The Night Circus. Also big on BookTok is her other book that she's got published about a circus that comes and goes and about a magical jewel. Little plot, mainly vibes. That's her stuff. It's great. It's so good. I want it injected into me. I devoured it.
Fair enough, yeah. We talked about Cursed Cocktails earlier, but also Legends and Lattes, obviously, and
Lattes.
Can't Spell Treason Without Tea. Those were both all over TikTok as well.
We've read both.
Yep.
Go watch our episodes. Go listen.
Go listen to our episode on Can't Spell Treason Without Tea, and you will soon be able to listen to our episode about Bookshops and Bone Dust, which is the prequel to Legends and Lattes.
So good. Spoiler alert, we loved it.
We loved it. Shocking nobody. We loved it.
Ones that I loved, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Devoured it. Made me cry a lot. Video games. Great stuff. Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Very Edgar Allan Poe for the classic girlies. A lot of mushrooms, a lot of dark humor, a lot of there's also a lot of talk about like being mixed race and stuff, or about being a person of color during, I think it's like Victorian era that it's take part in. So it's very, very good. V.E. Schwab is also very good for Dark Academia. She's got Vicious and something else. I'm trying to think. She's got a Ghost series out. She's got a bunch of other stuff, which is fantastic. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson, which is getting a TV show at the moment, which I'm really excited for, with the girl from Wednesday. Very excited about that. And Phoenix mentioned earlier, Aidan Thomas. Sunbearer Trials is also another one that's also good from Cemetery Boys.
Yeah, I would also add She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. That was huge on BookTok. I really liked it. There is a surprise fisting scene, so fair warning.
Be warned.
But it's really good. It's like classic. It's like Chinese historical fantasy. It's really interesting. I really enjoyed it. The sequel was also really good. I would recommend, if you're going to read the sequel, though, that you read a summary or just reread the first one, because it took me a while to remember who everybody was and what everybody was doing. because they came out like a couple of years apart, I think.
Yeah.
So
I think it was like 2.
Yeah. But yeah, really good book. And also Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White.
That was my last one. Hell yeah.
We have both read that book. We have both loved that book.
Devoured. Literally.
Absolutely incredible book about a group of queer kids in the apocalypse fighting against a Christo-fascist cult. And one of the queer kids is turning into a monster. It's incredible. It's such a good book.
It's so good. Body horror galore.
Oh,
it's great.
So much body horror. Absolutely fucking fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Loved every second of that. I have his new book that I keep meaning to read. I will read it at some point. So yeah. Have you got any others?
Iron Widow by Zhuan Zhezhou.
Yes.
Hopefully I'm saying that right. Also big one. Heavenly Tyrant coming out next year.
Yep.
Devoured it. Yep. Mechs. I adored this book. Polyamory. Fantastic. Go read them.
Yeah.
That's me though.
Yeah, that's me as well. There we go.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lovely hour-long retrospective on BookTok.
We could say more.
Oh, we could definitely
there
say
was
more.
We went for the top 4 of a list of about 20 books.
Yeah.
So
there's always more we could say.
Yeah. If you want more, tell us and we will do more.
We will do more if enough people want more.
If people want more.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, keep an eye on the podcast feed later this month for our book club episode about the Red Scholar's Wake, which again we would recommend that you don't go and read.
Don't go read it. Oh.
But listen to the episode.
Yeah,
it's a doozy.
We go crazy. It's an interesting one. If you liked our episode about Cryer's Lore and about how unhinged we got during that, then you will love the upcoming episode.
Yeah. And in December we have a book club episode about Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry. That's coming up.
Loved.
Which, spoilers, we loved that one.
Yep.
And also in December we have a blooper reel instead of a Talking in the Tavern, which has 20-something minutes of flubs, gasps,
so far.
singing, laughs, just nonsense.
Yeah.
It's quite something.
I'm going through it. It's so funny. So funny.
Yeah. I haven't heard any of it. It's going to be a surprise for me. I'm not going to listen to it until it comes out. So.
Oh, Brill. Oh, no. Okay.
So it's going to be like entirely a surprise to me what's even in there.
The pressure.
Yeah. No pressure. No pressure.
Oh, no.
And then in January, we won't have a book club. We will instead have our 2023 reading roundup episode where we'll go through, some books that we liked and didn't like from this year and how many books we've read and all that good shit. And then in February, we'll be starting season 2 of Hearth and Tome.
Woo!
Because it will, in fact, have been nearly a year, which is terrifying.
Holy crap.
Because our first episode went up in April of this year. So we're coming up on a year of Hearth and Tome.
That means we have to do something real good for April.
Oh, God. Don't put that pressure on us.
Why'd I do that to us?
But yes, in February, season 2 of Hearth and Tome begins.
We'll start.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to Talkin in the Tavern. Eve, where can they find you on outside of the podcast?
On the interwebs, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. That's the last one. You can find me all under Cozy Crow with an S, not a Z.
Yeah, the proper way.
The proper way. Too many Zs out there, man. Why Z?
Americans.
Just leave it. Right? Phoenix, where can they find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitter, Threads, and Instagram at Beans and Fungi. And make sure that you follow the podcast. We are on Instagram at Hearth and Tome Pod, Twitter at Hearth and Tome, and TikTok at hearth.and.tome, where you can get little clips and behind the scenes stuff, as well as obviously news about when episodes are going up and all that good shit. Yeah.
So thank you for listening to this episode of Talking in the Tavern.
Yeah,
we'll see you again
see
real
you
soon.
Bye.
Bye. The music used within this episode was Wholesome by Kevin MacLeod. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license from incompetech.com.